Quick. Awesome. Good to go.
Sweet.
Yeah, man. So nice to meet you, dude.
Yeah, you too, man.
Um, how are things in Pennsylvania?
Not too bad. We're hanging in there like everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear any updates on like dates of anything?
I know that the initial opening is going to happen May 8th,
Okay.
and it's like a three-phase thing. So it's a red phase, a yellow phase, and then green is like good to go. From what I understand, we're not even going to be in the yellow phase yet up here.
Okay.
So it could be June before we get back to work.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm feeling for us too, man. Because
Yeah. I
like
mean,
any dates,
you know,
like I don't see it being in 2 weeks for sure.
no.
Not
No,
mid-month.
I
So
don't.
like if it's not mid-month, then like it's probably gonna be June at least. So
Yeah. Yeah, my wife works in healthcare too, so
oh shit, man.
she's like frontline and sees it. She actually had it.
No shit.
Yeah,
Did
that
you
sucked.
manage to not get it?
Yeah, I didn't get it. My son didn't get it.
How
Um,
bad was it when she had it?
she had a really mild case, thankfully.
Okay.
She had symptoms for about 4 days, and then she was kind of good to go. But she had to quarantine in our bedroom
Was she like
for 10 days.
quick to be able to get a test?
She got tested as soon as she showed symptoms, but we didn't hear back until 7 days, I think, 6 days that she was positive. So
So
we quarantined immediately,
yeah. So I mean, technically, wouldn't you have gotten it, but you just didn't have symptoms? I guess then.
I mean, that could be too. Yeah, we don't know
Yeah.
really. I could have.
Fucking
I
weird,
mean, it's
man.
likely. I don't know. It's fucking crazy, this
Yeah,
whole thing. So
dude. Um. Oh well.
it's weird. Weird times, man. Like we're doing a digital split sheet, which is rad. Like that's cool.
Yeah, man.
Um,
Just like trying to trying to keep it going. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, because it wasn't the intention at the beginning of the podcast either. Like the first episode, we like paint. Actually, it's behind me right over there.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
and then there's another one I did with my buddy Joe, but like it was to like paint sheets together, and
Yeah.
um, then this happened, and I was like, well, we literally were about to put out the first episode right before it all went to shit, and um, so yeah, it's funny because like going back and like looking at them now, it's like kind of watching things fucking unfold a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's like, well, fuck, man, if I'm gonna be stuck inside, might as well try to keep busy doing something at least tattoo related, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
Definitely.
but dude, like um, the more I like chat with other buddies on the phone and stuff, like that are like I have one friend that's in Chicago, like sitting in his apartment, fucking going crazy, and um, like I think it's kind of good for my sanity too, just to be like regularly talking to other tattooers and stuff. Like I don't know, man. Um,
Yeah.
and I'm sure like shops are kind of doing that for themselves too, but it's nice to still be able to reach out, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Our shop has a group chat, but it's like it's not the same. It's not the
Yeah.
same as like hanging out in the shop and doing tattoos and shooting shit all day. But it's given me a really good opportunity to paint, which I don't get very often, at least not for like my own benefit.
Yeah.
Um, Usually it's like painting something for a thing we're doing at the shop, or it's just drawing tattoo designs every day. Um, so this has been great. I feel this is like the most productive I felt in a way that's not tattooing for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I never would brush line paintings before this, but I've spent the whole quarantine so far like brush lining paintings every day, and it's like I never thought I would be doing it, but I'm starting to get the hang of it a little bit, I think.
I've never done it. And I was
It sucks.
like, I was just talking to my coworker Matt the other day about that. Like, I was like, I think I'm gonna try it though, but like, I just feel like it's just gonna look even worse than my other shit looks.
Yeah, dude, I just I spent like a number of years ago, learning how to use nibs, and so I thought I was like good to go. I was like, I
How are you
leveled
with
up.
them? You pretty like,
I'm okay. I
yeah,
think they look pretty good. They're a little shaky and wobbly, like I come from like an art and illustration background, so it's
okay.
like drilled into my brain to make everything fucking perfect. So I always use like top of the line markers and
Like any
like,
time in art school or anything?
oh yeah, I have a 4-year degree
Okay.
in,
Where'd you
in
go?
fine. I went to a really small liberal art college out in Ohio that nobody has ever heard of it.
Uh, I
But
went to Kendall in Grand Rapids, Michigan for a little while. If you know
okay,
Kendall College of Art and Design, so we're not super far from each other.
right,
Um,
yeah. Northwest Ohio actually is where my
what's the
family's
name of the
originally.
school though?
It's called Bluffton University.
No, I haven't heard of Bluffton.
Yeah, it's an hour south of Toledo in like a
Okay.
nowhere, like a little town, which is where my family's from.
That's
But
like Ohio though, bro. I'm sorry.
yeah, I mean, it's just Ohio. No offense to
Like
anyone from Ohio.
Cleveland, I hear is the most interesting city, and it's not a particularly interesting city.
Yeah,
It's like, hey, cool, there's the hall, like Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
yep.
All
And then
right.
there's bars like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, yeah. I have a couple buddies from Cleveland, like, and they took us out, and I was just like, oh, it's like a city. Okay,
Yep.
you know,
I mean, I'm sure if you're like from Cleveland, you know what's up and you know where to go. But
sure,
just
yeah,
hanging out there, it seemed like bars.
yeah. They've got a killer music scene out there. That was any reason I was ever in Cleveland for more than just like passing through was being
So,
on tour.
um, did you just go to school out there? Or are you from Pennsylvania originally?
I spent the most time in Pennsylvania. My dad's family is from Ohio, so we lived there
Okay,
until I was 4, and then we moved out here.
right
So
on.
I
So,
go to Ohio a couple times every year.
okay,
And my family actually used to have like a tiny little like a lake cottage up in Michigan, um,
where at?
up in Cold Water.
Old Water.
Yeah, tiny. I couldn't tell you like the nearest big town because everywhere around where it was like a nowhere town,
I'll look
one
it up
stop.
later just so I know.
I think it's on like the southeastern side of Michigan, probably near the Ohio border
Right on. I'm
somewhere.
from like the west side of the state, so
Okay,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, I've only ever been to Michigan to go to the cottage,
Right
so
on.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I
So
don't know
there's
where any. In
doesn't
Detroit,
matter, where you are really.
yeah,
But
true.
dude,
Same.
there's a bunch of beautiful wilderness in Michigan, man.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
So,
I want to take a trip up there to go to Name Brand sometime and get
dude,
tattooed.
I've been to Ann Arbor, but it was before I was really into tattooing and all that stuff. Um,
Yep.
and like I've gone to like University of Michigan games or whatever. But yeah, man, it's funny that I didn't know anything about it then. Um,
Yeah.
but finding out that that shop is where it is, you're like, in fucking Ann Arbor, like
Yeah.
of all places. But I mean, like, I don't know if that's like where Jeff Suck's from or where he just plopped down or whatever.
Yeah. I
Um,
don't know.
but dude, holy shit, man, fucking legends there.
Yeah, they're just out there crushing it, and like
Yeah,
Leo Zulueta's places up
yep.
there too. Just
And
like
I
in Michigan.
really want to get tattooed by Julian Bast. Like,
Yeah, his stuff is rad
yeah.
for sure.
Um,
All those dudes crush it up at that shop. It's
yeah,
nuts.
man. It seems uh like the Michigan tattoo scene is like interesting because I got to see it like early on, like early 2000s, and like what was going on in my area of Michigan tattoo wise. It was like you had a couple fucking options, man. Like, and that just
Oh
is
man,
what it is.
tell me about it. When I was in college out there, I was getting tattooed a lot. Like I was super. I got my first one as soon as I turned 18. Um, and it was at this like it was at a shop that like can't exist anymore. Like I remember going in there with my buddy, and we like thought we were cool as fuck going into a tattoo shop. We were like stoned, and we were like looking at all the flash. And I always remember like the Paul Booth set that like every tattoo shop had that in it. Like it's like stone gargoyles and like
Hmm.
crazy weird Paul Booth faces and shit.
Yeah.
And I remember the dude at the counter was like, he was like, "Hey, can I help you with something?" And we're like, "Oh, we're just like looking around." And he's like, "Oh, you getting tattooed today?" And we're like, "Oh no, like we're not 18 yet, but like we will be in a few weeks." And he goes, "Oh, okay. We'll stay in a fucking library, so either pick something or get the fuck out of here."
Fucking
I
A
was
right.
like, "Yeah."
You fucking
And
kid.
like, it's funny when I tell people that story, they're like, "Oh man, I bet you never went back to that place." I was like, "That's the first fucking place I went back to get a tattoo."
Yeah.
Because it made me feel, it was so mystical to me. I was like, "Oh shit, I'm an asshole because I don't know anything about being in here, or like what to say or what to do." And it
No,
was like,
it's fucking. I I got my first tattoo on my 18th birthday, man, and like when you go in there, and you're like, because dude, there I didn't even grow up around. I was like a suburb of fucking like small town in Michigan, man.
yeah,
There was not a lot of heavily tattooed people, fucking period, man.
right,
Like, so you're just like, I want like a tattoo. I think they're really cool. I hear you're the guy, and he's like, yep, this is
yep,
how we're fucking doing things, and fucking set it up and make it happen.
yeah.
But
Those dudes
um,
are all like legends too, you know, like.
well, it's funny, man. I went back and had beers with the guy who did my first tattoo like years later.
Oh, that's
Um,
cool.
but he like it was weird. He like
Yeah.
wasn't happy with where he was working and wanted to like open up his own place and was like asking me to like move and come on, and I was like,
Oh,
whoa, dude.
yeah,
I was just trying to have a beer, man. Like
yeah.
maybe
Like pump the brakes, dude.
it's
That's
good to see
heavy.
you too, but like that's not gonna happen. Like
Yeah, yeah. That's actually kind of how when I was trying to get an apprenticeship, I actually got offered one at this place down the road from where I lived, and the dude was like, "Yeah, man, like I've seen your art, you're talented, and we want you in here, and you know, in a couple of years, it'll be you running the shop. Like I'm gonna teach you how to run the place, and you'll take over one day." And I was like, "Whoa."
that's a lot.
I was
But
just asking questions about how the fuck do I be a tattooer? I don't even know if I want to be one yet. Like, this is nuts.
yeah, actually, that was kind of the scenario in the place where I did my first apprenticeship that like it didn't pan out, and then I went somewhere else and did one. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, that's how like the owner was for sure. It was like him and his wife ran the place, and like
Yeah.
she was the one pushing it on me. She's like, "Cool, we're gonna build this up, and then you'll be the guy, and I'll sell it to you." And I was like, fucking whatever. Like, I'm in here.
You're
I
like,
want to learn how to tattoo. Here we are.
yeah,
Maybe I don't fucking know. Um,
yeah,
but that didn't happen, and I'm glad that didn't happen.
yeah. Same, same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got an apprenticeship then at a different place in the city, which is where I wanted to be. But you know, when you're starting out, you think like anything I can get.
Wait.
I
So in
just
the
need that.
city is what city?
Oh, Lancaster City.
Okay. How big is
Um,
like I've never been.
it's actually probably a similar size to Frederick, maybe
Okay.
slightly larger.
Yeah.
Um,
We're not huge. So
yeah, yeah. I mean, I've been down a few times to get tattooed by Antonio,
okay.
um,
Hey,
and then down at Key City a few times also.
right on.
So
That's
my wife and I love Frederick. It's fucking awesome.
probably pre me working at Black Label. So
Yeah, yeah.
I
This
slipped
was
in when Antonio went out. I did like
right.
a backdoor move, and then he
Yeah.
came back, and now I get to kick it with him. So
Now it's like fully loaded. Yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah. I actually, when he left, I showed my wife that Instagram post, and I was like, "Hey, you want to go move to Frederick, or you know?"
hey,
But still up here, which is cool. I love it up here. Um, but yeah, it's not, it's got like big city stuff. Like it's got a awesome music scene. A lot of touring bands come here. Um, and it just has a lot of good nightlife. Like you can find anything to do that you want to do, but it's not Philly or New York or Baltimore,
yeah,
um, which is why I like it. You know, there's stuff to do, but you don't have to deal with all the bullshit of the bigger cities.
yeah, man. I lived closer. Oh, and worked in Baltimore before I moved to Frederick. And like I'm glad. Well, we kind of moved out pretty immediately when we found out we were having our daughter. So it was like, yeah,
Mhm.
let's get the fuck out of Baltimore. We're
Yep.
not we're not doing this shit. And then it just kind of panned out that like uh Matt, Antonio, and Josh all left, and then it opened up a spot for me to kind of. Well, I actually just went in to like ask if I could do walk-ins, and Scott was like, "No, we need somebody full time. What's up?" And I was like, "Oh
You're
shit,
done.
yeah." Like, wait, you mean I can get the fuck out of Baltimore and like move to this way fucking cooler shop? Yeah, I think I'm gonna fucking do that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, but now Matt, Josh, and Antonio are all back at the shop, so fucking
Yeah, that's
it
killer.
all works out.
Yeah. Yeah. Everything happens for a reason, you know?
There you go. Or it just fucking happens, like pandemics and shit.
Also true. Yeah, I guess that makes it seem like such a stupid fucking thing to say. Like everything happens for a reason. Like, no, it fucking doesn't.
I mean,
Some
it makes you feel a little better sometimes, though.
for sure. Yeah.
Like, oh,
But yeah, I mean, that's how I kind of came to work at the shop that I worked at too. I finished up my apprenticeship and moved to another shop, and then I was there for a while. And like the biggest downtown shop here, the owner out of the blue emailed me and was like, "Hey, one of my guys leaving. Like, do you want to come down here?" And I was just like, "Yeah,"
yeah,
because it was like time to go from the other place.
yeah.
Um, I was looking for a place to go that would be worth it, and it just happened. Like within a week of me struggling with that decision, this dude was just like, "Hey, come work for me, man." I was like, "Yeah, okay."
I mean, I'm sure this isn't for all people, but in certain moments where things are like stressful or like you're really trying to figure some shit out, it is, I feel like often that things kind of present themselves to you.
Yeah,
Like, I don't know, like I said, when I was trying to leave my shop, we were actually almost moving back to Michigan. I had a job set up back in Grand
oh,
Rapids because we were like, maybe it'd be better because my parents are still there. Like, maybe it'd be better to be there. Um, but then when I got the offer at Black Label, I was like, nah, we're, we're moving to Frederick.
yeah, that
um,
rules.
but yeah, man, like it just happened to open up right when it was like we were about to go that way. Um, but dude, yeah, I wouldn't do it any other way. Even though like I always go back to this one shop, the place I was gonna get a job at. I always go back there and just like guest spot or whatever when I go back home and tattoo my
Nice.
friends, whatever. Um, but yeah, man, like I really am happy with the vibe of the shop. Like I feel like it all kind of worked out, and not to say that like it all happens for a reason, but like yeah, I feel like it panned out in the best way it could have, you know.
Yeah,
But
yeah. No, dude, the vibe down at your shop is awesome. Like I remember the first time I went there, my wife had got me an appointment with Antonio like as a birthday present. Because it was like I was like maybe a year or two into my career, like full time in it. And I was like, I think I need to start like traveling and getting tattooed by like dudes whose work I like, because mostly I would just like get tattooed wherever I was at the time
mm,
by local dudes. And so I talked to her about that, and then she got me that gift. And it was the first tattoo shop I think I was in for an extended amount of time where I was like, oh, fuck, like this is what a tattoo shop is supposed to look like. You know what I mean? Like
absolutely.
it's crushed out in flash. Like there's a separate waiting area. It's not like this boutique salon vibe where you walk in. It's
So
like you wait up here and like look at all the shit until someone talks to you.
yeah, pretty much. Um, that's exactly how I felt. Uh, so I went and got a Hanya mask on the back of my neck from Grand Beach at Made to Last in Charlotte,
Yeah,
and like that's exactly how I felt when I walked in there. I was like, oh, like this is a tattoo shop. There's
yeah,
this dude getting like a full black and gray Jesus back piece, like right there in the front, and like when I went in to get my shit, this dude Brian Liebrick sharing the room, and I don't know if you know his stuff, but he's sick as fuck, and he's doing like
Mhm.
this giant dragon on this dude's side. It was just like big rad shit everywhere. And I was just like,
Yeah.
word, like these dudes tat for sure.
Yep. Yeah,
But dude,
man.
they were super cool at the same time, like so nice. Turns out I like kind of sort of knew the guy Brian through some other people, and he like gave me some cigarettes as I'm getting like this Hanya blasted on the back of my fucking head, and I'm just dying.
Hell
Um, but dude, yeah, super nice guys, but like I feel like yeah, when you step into that other environment and like you don't know yet, when you're just like super young in your career, and you're just like, what's real tattoos? You know, what's the real
yeah.
shit? And then you
Yeah.
finally see it, and you're like, okay, this is the business.
And it's funny because that means like a real tattoo means different things to different people, you know.
Absolutely.
I was taught by a dude who did biomech, and he was like, "This is like the truest form of tattooing because everything fits on the body." And I'm like, "Sure, man. Like if that's your thing," because he did amazing biomech tattoos. You know, it
Dude,
was
I
wild
still
to
love
see.
fucking Gaiacs and all that shit. Like,
Oh yeah, dude, that was like part of my apprenticeship was reading that fucking book and like doing the exercises out of it. You know,
awesome.
um, but to me, it's like fucking bizarre that you would lay like color tones down and then do the black outline over it later. Like that never made sense to me. So, you know, what's real tattooing to me is different from what someone else is. But when you know it, like when you see it, you know it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
whatever it means to you, like as soon as you get that first taste of like what that is, you're like, shit. Like
Yeah,
this
man.
is what I want to be around all the time.